Okay, let's take a look. You were asking about B and C, the correlation coefficient. If I click here to view the data set, we have this. Now I'll go and put it into the calculator first. So I'll push my stat button, enter on edit, and if I have numbers, I can hold down my delete key to delete the numbers. Just make sure you don't have L1 deleted or L1 highlighted, otherwise it'll delete it. And I'm going to put my X values in L1. So I got 2, 4, 6, 6, 7. Then I'll go over to L2 and I'll put my Y values. 4, 8, 12, 14, and 20. Exit out. Okay, now to find R on your calculator, it's always good to set your diagnostics on before you begin with. You don't need it for R, I don't believe, but you need it for other parts. So if you do second 0, so the second button right here and then a 0, it'll go to the catalog, and you want a down arrow to diagnostics on. You can just hold down the down arrow, it'll quickly go down there. Put the little cursor next to diagnostic on and push enter twice. Now you only have to do that one time. It's now set the diagnostic stays on. Now we want to do a stat, so push your stat button, right arrow to calc, and then we want to choose linear regression. And do enter and enter again. And the R is the 0.947. So that's where you get that at. Now, if you got a newer T84, your screen may not look like what you just seen. What you need to do is go to your mode button, this right here, and you want to shut off Stat Wizards. So if you got Stat Wizards on here, you down arrow that line, you put your flashing cursor on the off, and you press enter one time, and then you do second mode exit out. Okay, because the correlation coefficient is positive, so it's positive. And the absolute value of the correlation, 1. Absolute value of the correlation coefficient. Oh, okay, it hasn't graded that yet. Absolute value of 0.947 is 0.947. Then is greater than, not greater than the critical value for this data set. Now let me bring up what they're referring to. And this is what is this? Section 4.1. There's a table in the back of the book, an appendix. Okay. Here's the table here. This allows us to look up our critical value. Now the N refers to how many sets of data points you have. And I'm talking about pairs. So if I look at the data set here, looks like we have 5 pairs. So N would be 5, so we got 0.878 from our table. So this is greater than the critical value 0.878. And this says determine the absolute value of the correlation coefficient. That's what we did here, the 0.947. Find a critical value in table 2 from appendix A for the given sample size. That was the 0.878 we found. And if the absolute value of R is greater than the critical value, linear relation exists. So here, a positive linear relation exists between X and Y. And that's how you'd fill out B and C.